14:20 in the morning for this January 11th, 2023. Today's show is brought to you by SeatGeek and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on all your sporting events, concerts, shows, whatever it may be. Save $20 for some beers at the show. We might get you one most places nowadays, but anyways, talk about that another day. We'll talk about, first off, let's thank Blaise LeVay for joining me on the show yesterday on the Hey Blue podcast. We had a great talk about umpiring across Canada, things that have to get done. We also talked about his days playing for Team Canada. He's a world champion and the like, and he got himself a world championship, hit a big 2-run home run that he talked about against the U.S. years and years ago. And it's funny how you remember those things. It was a great chat with Blaise. Thank you very much. It'll be up later today. We got a clip that on for the end of the show today that we'll get out there for you guys to preview and send out there to the masses. Anyways, let's talk some hockey, more specifically the Edmonton Oilers and their little set two all the time. It seems they lost the other night 6-3, I think it was, to the lowly Los Angeles Kings, a team that they have to push back in the standings. They hope to make the playoffs. They have right now, things aren't good. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10, but more disturbingly, they're 10-11-2 at home. You have to make hay at home no matter what league you're in, no matter what sport it is. You need home wins a lot, and to be under 500 at home, that's one of the problems that you may have right off the bat. But this could be just a situation where they have the January woes. Like I said, they have enough scoring with the big two, as always, with McDavid and Draisaitl. You got to love those two hockey players. But when you just have, and you got to say Hyman's chipping in a little bit here and there, and Nugent Hopkins doing what he's supposed to be doing, but they have a team that doesn't have any secondary scoring whatsoever or third-and-dairy scoring whatsoever. The loss of Evander Kane, the Kane twins. Evander Kane was a huge loss, not only because he can put the puck in there a little bit, but team toughness, which the Oilers don't have. When you have Jesse Puljujarvi and the aforementioned Zach Hyman having to drop the gloves after big hits, which drives me nuts whenever it's a nice clean hit or a big hit. It's instantly a drop the gloves moment. I don't know why that's a thing, why it's been such a trend in the last 10 years or so, but I don't understand that, why a big hit has to turn into that. Is that the way minor hockey's taught? Is that the way it's taught throughout junior hockey now? I don't know. It just seems to be an odd thing that if a guy has his head down and gets himself look at the lights a little bit because he got railed, there shouldn't be an ensuing fight by a teammate. I get it. I like teammates sticking up for each other, absolutely. But when a guy gets hit, it should be okay. But anyways, let's get back to the Oilers. Secondary scoring, like I said, is gone. They don't have the defenseman that every team wants to have. Every team says they need a defenseman to do this. I like Tyson Barrie. He's not that next level guy, but how many next level guys are there? There isn't a whole bunch of Cale Makars out there waiting to be picked out of the waiver wire or up for trade. Everybody talks about that Jacob Chikrin in Phoenix with the Arizona Coyotes. He hasn't played, and how good could he possibly be right now? Who knows? But injuries and the like, he hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout his career. But that's not the thing, I don't think. I think the biggest thing is they can't keep the puck out of their net there in Edmonton. I was completely wrong about Jack Campbell. I was wrong. I got tricked by his performance last year with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was very good with the Leafs last year, but that Leafs team also could put the puck in the net at a pretty high pace. They didn't have great goaltending. You look at the stats, maybe they weren't as good. My father-in-law, Peter Michaelopoulos, he was actually the one who called it last year or in the offseason that losing Campbell might have been a blessing for the Leafs, and they're kind of having a much better go of things right now in Toronto. I don't think they're winning anything, so it's still not going to get by Tampa in the first round. That playoff system's got to change. That's ridiculous that the playoffs are already set and we're only January 11th and everybody knows who they're going to be playing pretty much. I hate it. Go back to 1-8, 2-7, and the like. Not the way it is now. It's stupid. Bettman, please change that. But anyways, you have that. You need that top 4 D man, that, like they say, but everybody needs that top 4 D man and the like. I mean, you look back at the 06 Oilers and Chris Pronger, who got the Oilers to the finals. Second last time a Canadian team's been in the finals, I think. You go back there, but Pronger was the guy single-handedly got the Oilers to that situation where they were. You look at McCarr last year with Colorado; he was the guy who put it all together. Yeah, you have McKinnon and the like on that team that was doing some amazing things, but it was Cale Makar and that defensive core that's happening. But the problem you got in Edmonton, I think, is team toughness. Like I said, Puljujarvi shouldn't be fighting. Zach Hyman shouldn't be fighting. I don't think fighting is a major part of the game, but just that overall team toughness where you're not getting pushed off the puck. And that's what seems to be happening with the Edmonton Oilers a lot. McDavid's obviously gritty. Draisaitl's obviously gritty, but you can't expect those guys to be out there crashing and banging and like they're there to put the puck in the net. You don't have that second and third line crash and bang, dump and chase. Whether that's even a thing anymore, I don't know. It seems to be effective once in a while, and it gets the juices flowing and the like. So I think that's something that's got to happen. But one guy, I was reading somewhere yesterday, I can't remember where it was. A guy like he's injured right now, but a guy like Kyler Yamamoto, I think it is, when he starts talking about they need more team toughness, you better shut your mouth, kid, because you are 5'8", 160 pounds. If you need team toughness, you'll be out of the league right away. So you're not allowed to talk about this situation whatsoever. You don't have any toughness whatsoever. You put up 4 points this year, 4 goals. Yeah, you've been injured, but you're not the guy. Goaltending is a major problem in Edmonton, obviously with Campbell. Stuart Skinner, he's going home, which I find I might be in the major minority in this one, but he's going home for a few days for the birth of his first child. I don't know how much I like this. I'm probably going to get scolded and burned a little bit online for this one, but I don't think that you should be going home for the birth of your child. Get that scheduled for when you're on a homestand or whatever it may be. I think it's kind of ridiculous that a guy. You're blessed to play in the National Hockey League. You're blessed to play in the Major Leagues of Baseball or the NBA or the NFL or whatever it may be. Get that schedule, get it different, because I do think that these guys, that their wives like the paychecks and the like, and your team needs you. It's a business, and you could be out of the league before you know it. Eventually, you just run out of games, man. And playing those games might be the difference between a longer career, a playoff run for your team, getting into playoffs for your team, and it's still a business and the like. And when your bosses are giving you the amount of money that they're giving you to play a sport, it's not a game, it's a sport, because it's a business. I think you should be on the road with your teammates and get that pregnancy and get that birth rescheduled. There's always a way. I don't like it. I think that they're like I said, they like their paychecks. Their wives like the paychecks and the like. I'm not saying that it's that sports is everything, but I do think that there are times and there are things. I mean, what is he going to deliver the baby? Is Skinner delivering the baby? What's he going to do? Help her breathe? Get someone else to do all that stuff. I've never been in a hospital when the birth happens, but that's just my opinion. You think that's my opinion. Don't add anybody else. It's just me. That's my opinion about athletes and their wives when it's time to have their children. Good, done. Anyways, you were thinking this year that the Edmonton Oilers might make that next leap to be the first team since the 07 Ottawa Senators to maybe get to the finals. You think that Toronto might do it, but Toronto, they haven't won a round since 04. So a Canadian team winning the Stanley Cup this year, I don't think is going to happen. If you go through if you go coast to coast, I don't think you're going to have a Canadian team in the finals this year, just the way things kind of roll. Toronto might get there but they got to win that one round, because they're going to have Tampa in the first round. That's going to be tough. And then Boston doesn't seem to want to lose. It's crazy. Vancouver, take a line out of Jim from Fan in the Van podcast. He says Cleveland's going to Cleveland. Well, it's turning into Van's going to Van in Vancouver, because the Vancouver Canucks jumped to an early 3-0 lead last night. I was watching that game as I was doing some show prep for different podcasts we're doing later on this week, and sure as shit, they blew it. It was unbelievable. So you're going to have to be pretty tough to or hard pressed for a Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup this year, or even get to the finals. It's unbelievable how long this drought's gone on, and you just wonder when's it ever going to stop. And then you look back, get off this Oilers thing in a second here, but you look back on this Oilers team. Maybe they're just not that good when it comes down to last year when they got to the third round, which is a major accomplishment. You think they're going to do something. They ran into that eventual Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche. If you think that Oilers team was good last year, you get thinking a little bit on the outside looking in. They barely got by a very weak Los Angeles team in the first round. Went 7 games, and then they managed to beat a Calgary team that had basically Brent Radlinski trying to stop pucks in there with Markstrom, who had a terrible playoff last year. He was just worse than Smith was. So that full third round that they got to last year kind of put some lipstick on a pig, that a team that wasn't that good. So maybe Kenny Holland hasn't put together a team surrounding Draisaitl and McDavid anyway. So it's kind of a funny thing. You look at a team that was a third round playoff team and everybody thinking that this is the year to do it. You look at those two teams they beat, they weren't that good. So maybe they were just fortunate to have the matchups they did. It's an odd thing, but Stanley Cup champion. The Stanley Cup is not coming back to Canada this year, in my opinion. It hasn't been here since 1993 when Patrick Roy and the Montreal Canadiens got one out of the Wayne Gretzky-led Los Angeles Kings. Anyways, hopefully the Oilers can put something together and make a bit of a run, make a trade here or there, and find that D-man they want. Maybe they should try to convince Duncan Keith to come out of retirement, because he was a hell of a player. But that, I like that trade that they got him 10 years ago, or that free agent signing would have been 10 years and he was with Chicago, would have been a lot better.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.